Carrie. I'm so happy to be sitting here with you on this new moon day. This is BB Tinsley, and I'm with my co-creatress, Carrie Keegan, and she was just relating to me how this is somewhat of a typical new moon energy. So you want to say hi?
Sure.
You're so
good
good
afternoon, everybody out there listening with us today around our kitchen table. Thank you for tuning in to the Kitchen Table Ascension podcast. We hope to share our experiences of what's happening with the energies, the solar and the lunar energies, and all of the planetary energies that are occurring and how we filter them down through our experience. But yeah, that's our little intro for the day. So we can now go a little more informal. Yes, it is June 16th, 2015. This morning, it's Tuesday, and we had a new moon in Gemini. We're also having, yes, and we'll go into a little bit about that. I want to just say we've also are feeling the very potent solstice energies. We're also feeling there were a lot of M-class solar flares just a few days ago, so that's an influx of our friend, our father-son energies as well on top of that. So along with the many influx of new light beams coming to us, so we can talk about all of those and how they're happening. But going back to the new moon in Gemini, that means the sun and the moon are in Gemini. That's not only a sun and the moon, but also Mercury and Mars are in Gemini. So we have quick energy. It's light. It's fun. It's more than we can do in a day, but it's also very productive on the little tasks, getting a lot accomplished, maybe. Mercury, is communication, maybe a lot of communication, a lot more than normal. But this is our month. The new moon starts our month. And so we're going to have an overarching theme of Gemini, lightness, laughter, communication. And the other two other planetary energies, the Venus and Jupiter, are in the sign of the heart. So we have a lightness of heart, which is great. So we get to play with the influx of the solar light, heart-opening energies in a light, fun way with our friends, our playmates, our spouses, in a way where we don't have time for the heavy stuff. We're just going to go about into the lightness of our being. And that's a wonderful time. It's a time of graduations and celebrations and weddings and new beginnings. So it's really a wonderful time to begin to play in a light way with your new intentions. But again, let's talk about our intentions. We know new moons typically are perfect for setting our intentions for the next month. A lot of people do rituals of writing them down and putting them under a crystal or putting them in their pocket and affirming them with their voice over and over again, and feeling them, first embodying them in the words, and then going from there and watching the creation and the creativity unfold.
I'm nodding my head. I had my mute button on because I took a sip of this very sparkly, happy, summer solstice feeling drink. It's so refreshing. Yeah, I'm listening to you speak about this, and as you're speaking, I'm very aware of these new feelings that started arising today that are very familiar from the cyclical experience of going around in cycles, and that it's this summer feeling, and there is a happy, light feeling. There's popsicles, and I'm thinking of the sounds that I associate with summer. They're like way off in the distance. There's like laughter from the beach, and you hear a very far distant boat motor, and then you hear a screen door slam and somebody running up the stairs. And these sounds are just full of light. No matter what was going on with my family, the summertime just had this balm of happy, just happy, freedom, and I really love this feeling. But Carrie, I am aware today that there's something different going on, something very different going on, and I would like to explore that one with you.
Yes, I would like to throw in the mix here. We're in the north, and we're coming up with a solstice, which is very much the sun. and in our listeners from down under or the southern hemisphere, that's their dark time of the year. But how we align together with that solstice of June 21st is that we're both reconnecting with our relationship with our Father Sun. So here we are with the sun. It's giving us new vital energy with the solar flares, and it's on the cusp of the sign of Cancer, which is the mother energy. So we have a nice Father Sun, and moving in and doing a dance with our mother sign. So that pulse is inside of you. That's in your DNA. That's in your genes. That this cycle this has been your whole life at this time of the year, kind of a celebration of your masculine and feminine and your lightness of being. But what do we have today? Today, it's actually feels more palpable, doesn't it? These energies seem closer to the surface to me. Feels like they're not so hidden in the deep part of my being. They're actually coming up to the surface to come and play and to act and to express ourselves in our new spiraling awareness.
You are so articulate and so eloquent, and I'm just kind of bathing in those words right now. That was very lovely. What struck me about what you were just saying is that this is, for those of us in the North, it is a renewal of our relationship with our Father Sun. And I never really thought about that. It seems so basic. Maybe I have given it thought, but not from this perspective. I'm just wondering, is there more of a masculine energetic to summertime? Is that something I want to even pursue?
Well,
ask you.
I love the dance. I consider Gemini is the twins, it's the dance. So, and we're entering the new moon. So I feel I like to view Father Sun coming to dance with the mother in the mother star sign. So our Father Sun is here, and behind the father is the mother. So the star energy is coming, which is the constellation of Cancer, is twinkling its light, beaming, hitting first the sun, and then the sun is infused with the mother and the father, and then it hits the earth. And so I think of it as a dance.
That's beautiful. I love that. And it completely informs and expands my own experience of this time being a coming together of the family from the child's perspective and a blending of those energies. How beautiful.
The interesting anomaly I find here is this solstice coming at the time of, we've had lots of solar flare activity in a couple M classes, and I think what we'll do is post in a nice link to where you can map the current solar flare activities that I found in the UK Observatory. You too can find out, how these waves are kind of pushing the sun energy in a more dynamic way into us to give us some life force. What's sun? Sun is light. What is light? Light is light force. Light is consciousness. Light is illumination. As our hearts are opening and we're growing with all of this, it's this infusion and this spiral of consciousness and light that we want to be in a light way. What can we do in the lightness of our being?
Right. And I just want to say that Carrie and I have the viewpoint, the experience, the understanding that there's nothing fearful about an influx of energetics from a solar flare. It's actually very exciting. It's a wave of energy that there are many sources of information out there about the energetic wave that is coming in on Earth. I encourage everybody, do your own research. What my understanding is, it's steadily increasing. These are energetics that code us with information, with love, with all different kinds of things regarding our individual evolvement. And that oftentimes there can be an intensity felt in the body. There is a teacher, Jim Self, great teacher that Carrie and I both studied with, who phrased it where I really understood it for the first time. And he said, it's like you have an old pipes in a house, and You've got new electricity, and when you run that current, the old pipes really, really have a hard time. You want those expanded new pipes. And what these energetics are doing, it's expanding the piping system, people. Just knowing that, I know, will give some people a great sense of a great sense of comfort. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. It's exciting. It's happening, and it's proof. It's validation that we're in it. We are here, and now is the time.
That is true. I think about the dance that we're having with our perspective, reading the outer realms of the planetary awareness. The new planetary awareness is coming in almost on every front, every department, everything, breaking boundaries of, hey, we're bigger than we thought. We're bigger humans than we thought. We're a bigger planet than we thought. We're a longer history than we thought. We're a more powerful planet than we thought. All of these, expanding portals of consciousness, has a way of expanding ourselves and expanding our heart. And I really do think the heart is leading the way here in integrating all of those concepts. Even one in and of itself is kind of wow. And what we learn in Lunar Soul Wisdom and the classes that we teach are that all of these energies, or the stellar energies or the planetary energies, can be looked at in either a kind of a dark way or a light way, and how we're now choosing how to use them. And that's what we often talk about, how to use this new moon energy, how to use this solstice energy for you guys now. Wow, solstice starts in the next 6 months until the winter solstice pattern. It's kind of like a new moon on another level. So we have a new moon on a 30-day time frame, and now we have this sun, this other part of ourselves, our consciousness, on another cycle happening at the same time, and that is kind of a 6 month. This solar energy for us is on a 6 month time frame. So we have so many kind of cycles, just like our consciousness is opening up on lots of different cycles. That reflects as above, so below, as we often talk about.
What I'm finding fascinating right now is the observation of the new moon in Gemini in myself. I find that my focus points are many. They're not scattered, but they're many. They are connected, but they are many, and they are like all over. They're covering so much ground, so much territory. Now, Gemini is about, Carrie, help me out here.
It's the quickest moving, mentally quickest moving sign. So we got Mercury aiding the sun and the moon, plus Mars. We kind of want to move as fast as our mind is going, so we kind of like may get out of breath, so, and remember, Gemini is the breath. It's the sign of the breath. So I did just want to put a little interjection here that, guys, if you get too overwhelmed with so much happening in such quickness, and you wake up and I found in the first half hour of my waking up, I just went through, oodles and oodles and oodles of, scenarios of, from a lot of different points in my life. And I did process so much in the first half hour, and I'm like, whoa, it's only 8 o'clock. So that's Gemini. The antidote is Gemini likes to breathe. So I'll just take a nice deep breath together. And it's almost like even more delicious when the new moon is in Gemini. It's like, oh yeah, I really get how delicious a breath is.
Just had an inner hit. Now, my son is in Libra. It just occurred to me that I resonate with Gemini, not just because of the air quality and the elements that we have in common, but Gemini is the twins, and it represents a polarity in that sense. There's this sense of wanting to bring things into balance from Libra, and this Gemini aspect is kind of motivating and inspiring my desire for balance. I think it's speaking to that, right?
Well, it's trine.
That. Yeah.
Because trine is a harmonious, it's like two rivers coming at a fork, kind of harmoniously coming together from slightly different angles. They begin to inform and blend to a greater degree, and they have a happy meeting.
The ancients considered the coming together of rivers and bodies of water to be very, very hallowed, sacred places. And I'll bet what you just laid out, the fact that they're a blending of these great energies, there's a quickening, more power, I don't know, but
Yes.
see, this is Gemini too. All these thoughts are occurring really
But
quickly.
you're also, knowing your chart, you have Jupiter in Gemini's house, which is very
Oh,
expensive.
right.
So it's just sitting there. Although it's in the sign, your Jupiter is in the sign of Aries, it's involved too. And so it's involved in Jupiter. Oh, it might be that you lay out for yourself 20 more things in a day than you could probably do.
This is true. This is the story of my life. Yes, and it's coming into balance with being, letting go the sense of, oh, I didn't do it right. I didn't get everything. No, I'm actually, I've evolved a lot since those thoughts. And
But that's what I love about Gemini. Gemini is the easiest sign where you just flow off. Oh yeah, I didn't get to it. It's like it's
Cool.
the sign. They're the ones who give you the least hard time about. Oh well,
Yeah.
they can easily let go of things, and let's use that. That's like, let's let go in a happy way and go, I am finished with that old shirt, or that old belief system. Let's just toss it and let's be lighter. So that's another great thing, aspect of our Gemini new moon.
I'm also very, very grateful that I'm observing different groups of people in the consciousness. Do we call it movement? Do we call it just awakening peeps in general? But there have been sort of tried and true groups of folks for the last several years, and there's an opening. There's this mixing, this meet and greet, and going off in little groups for dinner and conversation. And I'm speaking specifically about people who have been really focused on our star brothers and sisters, and people who haven't wanted to think about that and have been focused on meditation and yoga and things of that nature. There's been a fence that has just dissolved, in my view, over the last year. I'm just so grateful for that. I think that, it's almost like there were different tribes. Everybody was coming from the same place, and we all, wanted the same thing, but there were these more or less rigid concepts that were hard for people to break out of. We don't want to let go of what we believe in. It's hard. And sometimes if you just let go and take a step through the gate, you realize you don't have to let go of what you believe in. You just expand and intake more, and there's an empowerment. So
it makes me think of your recent experience. This is on another level, but a concentric circle here is about your recent experience, that about your family of origin.
Yeah.
And that in itself, here is a container of what you believe your origin is, and on a very personal level, it was just expanded. And I feel like, wow, what a metaphor of what's happening to so many people in a very larger sense. Can you tell us about your experience there?
Yeah, I think that would be useful, because I think you and I right now are the only ones who know what you're talking about. Very briefly, I was adopted. My birth mother gave me up when I was 3 days old. I spent about 2 months in a facility, a very lovely facility, where I was cared for, and then I was adopted out to my parents, my mom and dad, my adoptive parents, and I grew up. And I grew up with the understanding that I was a certain person, and I believed myself to be that person. And to a greater or lesser degree, this is the path, the spiritual path that we're all on, where we understand that we are not who we think we are. We are not the personality. So in my case, it was a double whammy of as above, so below. Yes, ma'am, you really look here. Long story short, I am of the age where when I first, we've got some helicopters coming in now, Carrie. It's very interesting. Whenever Carrie and I talk these days, eventually they're coming right over the house. Hopefully they'll go away. I hope so. Anyway, as I was saying, there were laws in place. As a baby boomer, I was born in 1951, and I didn't have access to the records. And then on the other end of it, my adoptive parents, they couldn't talk about it. It was too painful for them to think that they did not give birth to me themselves. God bless them. So I played that game because I loved them so much. And I as far as I was concerned, my job was to protect their feelings and to hold their love. That's why I was there. So I didn't have access
So you
to the
knew
records.
early.
Oh,
You knew.
they told me right away. It
Ah,
was I think back then it was the Dr. Spock era, and the University of Chicago. I grew up with all the University of Chicago people, lots of cutting edge psychiatry and psychology, and they all said it was the thing to do to tell the child, from before they could speak. So I remember crawling into bed with my mom and dad, and it was like the most wonderful thing in the world. I remember saying, "Tell me again about the day you got me." And it was really quite delightful. Of course, it created a lot of confusion because I was always aware that there was another mother and another father out there, and I never could quite grasp. And I have no memory of asking my mom and dad, but I'm sure that I did. And that I learned early on not to go there. It was not the thing to do. So I did attempt to get some information. It's been very, very, very difficult. Well, I happened to go on Ancestry.com about a month ago. Lo and behold, I found my ancestors. I found my great-great-grandfather, Louis, who I look like. We have the same ears. We have elven ears. Our right ear is pointed up. We have a little point. My great-great-grandmother, and I found, amazing photographs. Now, in my case, bear in mind, I have two daughters. They're young women now. They're in their early 30s. But until they were born, I had never seen a biological relative. Now, up until a month ago, I had never looked at any image of a biological relative who is older than I am. So it was very, very moving for me. And as I'm sitting in this circle of love, and I could feel Louis and Ethel. Isn't that great? They were in London. They're around, and I was aware, boy, they've been around me. Because their energy was very familiar. It was just a big yes, 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 see us and know us. These concentric circles of reality and experience. And that's what you were talking about. Right?
right. This level of truth that we have been part of in our awakening process. Wow. Our history is not what we were told. It's way different. And that's resonating truth. And in a way, you celebrated knowing that truth. Oh, that feeling of celebration. Now, I just like to offer that as another ripple in the pond here. That this awakening of this truth can be like that. Yes, that makes so much more sense. We're of our history just being much longer and much more beautiful and extraordinary with it, with the DNA information that's coming up and the planetary portals and the sites being way older. And, we just simply aren't evolving from apes. That's just not what happened with us. The scientific truth is out. There's much more very intricate, multi-galactic truth out there now.
I knew it. I knew it when I was in kindergarten. I remember looking at pictures of the cavemen, and I was fascinated. It's like, I bet everybody on some level knows that this is not, the story isn't right. It's not.
Crick, the DNA, the guy who was one of the pioneers in the DNA. I'm sure I'm not getting his label right, but he wrote the book. He was one of the pioneer scientists, and he said once he saw the double helix, there's no way. This is way more complicated than evolving from apes. There is magic here that is beyond. It does not progress. There's no way I can believe with this beauty of this double helix. And here we are with our recent interviewee, Simon, saying, it has never been cracked. And even, in our multiverse, it hasn't been cracked. So it's just how cool.
I must take a moment to ask everyone to please go to our YouTube channel page. Lunar Soul Wisdom is the name of the channel. We have, if you haven't seen it already, the most amazing interview with a gentleman by the name of Simon Parkes. He was originally, he was very anonymous, other than the fact that he was for some time an elected political official in his town in England. What's interesting about Simon, he came out with information regarding being an experiencer and a tremendous amount of knowledge before he put himself on the ballot, or however they do it, and he was still elected. All I have to say is go listen to this interview and find out more about Simon. He's a tremendous source of true information. And
exactly. Weaver of context, indeed, he is. We need people that can begin to kind of connect some of these dots and go, oh, here is an overall picture. As we too, I just heard his recent interview, which you can go to his website and go to the interview page, Simon Parkes spelled PARKES.org on the interview page, and Wolf Spirit Radio's last one he was talking of. He was just giving a lot of appreciation and thanks for the planetary people that love and know that their work is on behalf of the planet right now, and that is so important, regardless where some of everybody else is. He just really is an ambassador for the planet, and the lover of humanity. It just shines through.
I think he's an ambassador for those groups, those tribes of people I was referring to earlier. I see people of all different types of interests really kind of gathering around Simon. Part of it is that he's very grounded. There's something, I call him the galactic gentleman, but he has a tremendous amount of, tremendous isn't the right, a vast amount of love and appreciation for humanity, and he celebrates humanity. And he's one of those, who is coming forth right now with all of these bits and pieces and huge cauldronfuls of information. Our galactic history has led up. There's so much going on right now. I just want to kind of giggle about it. It's just crazy.
Any of our listeners also that have stories that would like to share with us and that we can talk about. Also, one of my favorite lines, please get in touch with us and we can begin to tell your truth as well. But I'd like to just share one of my favorite concepts or lines that Simon said, which I just keep resonating as you were talking, was it doesn't matter, whatever your origins are, whatever race you were from, whether it was Chinese, Atlantean, mantid, reptilian, if your intention, for this planet is the same, whether it's whale or kitty cat, if your intention is to be a lover and an advancer of this planet in its truest form, then there's really not that much of a boundary, is there?
There really, truly isn't. It's about the soul truth, and it comes down to, it's not about what you look like. It's about what you're being within your sacred heart and what you're emanating through your intention. And we all look the same when we're coming from that central place inside of us. We all look the same. That's what I love. It's really amazing. Yeah. So I want to take just a moment to invite everybody to please go to our new endeavor. It's very exciting. Lots of plans for enhancement and expansion. LunarSoulWisdom.com. Also, as I said before, go to our Lunar Soul Wisdom channel page.
Right. We'll soon be posting our meditations where you can have 15 minutes of calm, 10 minutes of calm, maybe even 1 minute of calm. That's all you have time for. We will soon be posting our wonderful photos of our recent trip to Sedona, our galactic communications from Tara to accompany these meditations, and we'll be gathering a class together for more in-depth Lunar Soul wisdom and how you can just reach in there and extract your own wisdom that you're getting from the planets.
This is so much damn fun. I just have to say that. It really is. I feel so happy. Happy is here. Happy is grounding into a constant, ever renewing kind of feeling. It doesn't stay the same, but I can call all of it happy. So that being said, I also want to invite everybody to go. Carrie is an amazing healer and an amazing astrologer, obviously. If you're listening, you know that already, but go to her website too, KerryKeegan.com, KerryKeegan. And I haven't been with my camera in a couple of weeks, and we're lonesome for each other, but I might get it out tonight and do some macro shots of crystals. That's my form of knitting, people. When I just want to relax, I take my camera out. You can go see my photography at thebbblog.com. It's bbblog, BIBI. And this is something that you came up with, Carrie, the other day. And I want to ask people, go watch the interview or listen to the podcast. We are very keen to know what questions you would like us to ask Simon Parkes when we interview him again, which is, we can't announce the date right now, but it is forthcoming. So we really want to know, because we have the opportunity to ask him your questions. So you can leave feedback any place you go. Lunar Soul Wisdom page, Carrie's site, my site, or it's available anywhere you go. It'll come to us. I'm feeling kind of giddy because I'm happy.
That's right. That's good. Well, sing it. Sing it all out. Sing. And let's go ahead and set our intentions, everybody, for a really wonderful month ahead. Really great. Bigger than we can imagine at this moment. And let these energies inform us, infuse us, welcome us, and bathe us in loving kindness. Breathe that in, everybody. Go ahead. It is your moment. It is your birthright to breathe in an amazing breath of wonderful light and love, reflecting and reflected all around you. So with that, we will be here again on Kitchen Table Ascension Podcast. I am Carrie Keegan, and I'm with BB Tinsley. And you can reach us at lunarsoulwisdom.com or the iTunes podcast. Thank you very, very much for tuning in.
Blessings to everyone. And I'm sending everybody some happy right now. Feel it. Till next time. Bye, everybody.